When John Donaldson left his hometown to begin his career as a ball player, he would have never imagined that more than a century later, fans would still be discussing his greatness. It is important when we look at Donaldson's career, we do not forget all the lives he touched along the way. His life in baseball had many witnesses, people who knew him, his playing ability, and his impact. One was William Schomburg, one of John Donaldson's catchers with the All-Nations team. He said, John Wesley Donaldson never received the proper credit. He was as great a pitcher as Satchel Paige, and had he not been barred from professional baseball by his color, his name would stand with men like Waddell and Mathewson. Donaldson's cherished backstop went on to relate this story. Donaldson had a very mild temperament and was never rattled and never baited. He would rouse me out of bed to stroll with him a mile or so. On these morning walks, he used to lecture me on the evils of tobacco and drink. I never heard him use a vulgar or profane word. Another witness to John Donaldson, a traveling stage performer and band leader named Harry Gillum. He knew Donaldson as a boy prior to his baseball career. Maestro Gillum said he became the talk of the fans in every place he played, and the moneymaker of the organization he was connected with. He was forced to sleep in opera houses, barns, and very seldom given a room in a hotel. Donaldson's life as a barnstorming ball player was a consistent test of his perseverance. George Barton, a writer for newspapers in Minnesota for over 50 years, was a friend to John Donaldson. Barton wrote, "Former baseball players can tell you from experience that no human could throw a ball faster than John Donaldson." Another journalist named Sonny Saunison wrote about an offer Donaldson got to go to Cuba, change his name, and enter the major leagues as an Islander. Sonny directly quotes John Donaldson, "I am a Negro. I would not sell my mother for any amount of money. I want her to be proud of her son and not ashamed because he will not accept the fact he was born of her race." J.L. Wilkinson, the Hall of Fame owner of the Kansas City Monarchs, when asked, "Who is the best black pitcher ever?" said, "Satchel Paige isn't the best colored pitcher. He's tied with John Donaldson." Satchel hasn't got a thing that old John didn't have. He was the best southpaw I ever saw, black or white. John Donaldson is named on different all-time lists of the greatest Negro League players ever in at least 10 consecutive decades. The Negro League's Baseball Museum is celebrating the 100th anniversary of the league, named John Donaldson to the All-Century team. The Pittsburgh Courier, a nationally circulated black newspaper, quotes future Hall of Famer Ben Taylor, saying he considers John Donaldson the greatest left-hander we have ever had. In Jet magazine, an article by Doc Young relays his vast experience with John Donaldson's career. Had Donaldson been white, undoubtedly, he would have been a proud inhabitant of the Hall of Fame. So whether John Donaldson is considered for the National Baseball Hall of Fame at Cooperstown or not, his contemporaries knew of his prowess as a ball player and his distinguished personality. Today we must remember his contributions to the game and to those who knew him. Together, we will restore his legacy.